Okay, so here we are. Just got out of the Super Mario Brothers movie, and welcome back, everyone. This was an interesting movie because I don't know that I was really looking forward to it. I haven't really played a Mario game or any Mario since probably the N64. However, obviously, at my age, you grow up with Mario. This is something that everybody owned a Nintendo system. Everybody knows who Mario is. So this is a big movie. And scrolling through screen times today, trying to find three seats in a position where we could see the screen suitably was tough. We had to skip through a couple different showings. So this movie is doing very, very well. It's going to make a ton of money. And it's an interesting watch because, my kids are teenagers and I love them, but they're largely horrible, right? Because they are teenagers and maybe they don't enjoy things the way they used to. So seeing this movie surrounded by little kids and families and stuff, it was great. Normally, I'm that person who, if people are talking a movie, I can get really annoyed. However, you've got kids laughing and they're calling out when they see characters that they know and really gasping in surprise and cheering. And that's what's fantastic about this movie. That's what's so good about this movie. And, now that I'm even talking about it, I'm enjoying it more than I think I enjoyed it at the time. And obviously this is just within the last few minutes. I kind of just walked out, even though I did stay for both end credits. There are two. I don't know that they're worth it. If you've got little kids who are angsty and ready to leave, then go ahead and leave with them. One of the end credits you actually see a couple different times throughout the movie. I don't know that the build-up was worth it, and their very last one, I don't know. So this movie was made by Illumination, and I have to say this is their best-looking film to date. This looks absolutely amazing. There's a story from the making of the original Cars movie with Pixar. And the story is that there's a scene where Lightning McQueen and Sally are out for a drive, and they go under a waterfall, and the graphics and the processing power that was necessary to make that scene happen continually crashed the Pixar systems. And you can see, now obviously that was almost 20 years ago, right? 15 years ago that movie was made. And you could see the difference because obviously this is a very, very high budget, high marketed film. There was a lot behind it, but it looks great. And there is moving water and, realistic, photorealistic water. There's moving lava. There's motion and there's color and there's pieces. Packed into every scene and every nook and cranny of this movie, and it looks absolutely fantastic. As far as the people who are in it, I think that Chris Pratt is fine, right? He's not going to do the really sort of racist, cheesy well, he does do some of the catchphrases, but as far as the accent, obviously that can't happen. And one of the things that I didn't like about this movie was I think way too often they did fall back on the "it's a me" and the "yoy" or however he does. I don't know how to do it. I'm not good at it. But as a middle school teacher, which is, God, it sucks sometimes. Running throughout school this year, and I think going back for a while, is been kids saying "it's a me," and oh my gosh, it's annoying. It's incredibly annoying. So seeing it in this movie, I was like, oh God, I can't. But it's fun. This movie is just very lighthearted. Charlie Cox plays Luigi, and he was fine. I wanted him to be in the movie a little bit more. This was definitely a Super Mario Brothers movie, but Mario was the star. Anya Taylor-Joy plays Princess Peach, and she could have been the star of this film. She was fantastic. The Peach character was great. Like I said, I haven't really followed any Mario games or properties or whatever, so I know that she isn't the princess trapped in a castle anymore. But it was really great to see her just kind of kicking ass. It was cool. And Jack Black does not sound like Jack Black. You can kind of catch some inflections here and there, but he does a great job as Bowser. I think Seth Rogen as Donkey Kong was funny. There were a lot of voices that were recognizable, but it didn't take you out of the film. Sometimes in these animated films, it's too much time wondering, hey, who is that and who is this? And I know that's a game that a lot of people like to play. I get a little tired of that sometimes. I'd rather just be part of that movie. And I think they did a good job in this movie of doing that, of making the characters and the setting front and center, and not being about, hey, look at the stars that we got to sing this song or play this character or whatever. Speaking of stars, I think that the best part of this movie, my favorite part of this movie, was, I don't know what it's called. There's a little blue star, and I think it's from Mario Galaxy, and it's fantastic. That was the highlight of the movie for me. One of the things that I didn't like about it quite as much is I thought that the story kind of meandered a little bit. I did want it to just kind of be Bowser coming in and them fighting him off, and there was this whole subplot of Mario and Donkey Kong both trying to get their father's affection and respect. That not necessary. I didn't really need to know that Mario and Luigi were kind of failing plumbers, even though it was an interesting kind of nod to the old Mario Brothers television show and the movie, the cartoon. And so in this film, if you're a Mario fan, which, as I said, I know who he is. I'm not someone who would call myself a fan, but it's just speckled, just all throughout the movie, just packed with references. And, I think that if you know them, you're like, oh, look, that's this platform that they jump off of, and there's this area. There's this really cool scene early where they're going down through the sewers, and you can see it's level 4 and level 3 and level 2 and level 1 as they're getting down to the green pipes, and those sort of iconic moments. Or I felt that it kind of lacked a little bit was, at the beginning, they do this, they're trying to get from where they are to, they're in the real world, right? The quote unquote real world. And they're trying to get to this place where they're going to do their first plumbing job, because they're not even effective plumbers or something. I don't know. And so there's this cool kind of platforming moment, and I'm like, oh, I see what they're doing. Yeah, that's really cool. But the problem is then the rest of the movie is just kind of, aside from, well, I guess even with a training montage where Peach teaches Mario how to platform, it's just platforming after platforming after platforming. It's kind of like, oh, now it's this game. Oh, now it's that game. Now it's this game. Oh, look, here's the Mario Kart sequence. Oh, look, they're even making their own carts. And they have to platform their way across the world to get the Donkey Kong army, or the Kong army, because they're the strongest army in the world. And then they proceed to lose them within like 5 minutes. Okay, that could have been expanded a little bit, because I think where we kind of lost it was getting toward the end of the movie. It felt like it went on a little bit too long, and the final boss fight against Bowser could have been wrapped up a little bit better. I think Peach could have absolutely been the hero of this. Maybe Mario comes in to save some others, but let Peach take out Bowser. I guess that can't happen because this is a Mario Brothers movie. But the way it was done, and them kind of traversing to the other world. I don't know. That kind of fell a little flat for me. I didn't really care for that. But overall, I think this movie is incredibly enjoyable. I think if you're a fan of Mario, you're going to like it. I think that if you're a young kid, or if you've got young kids, you're going to watch this with them, and they're going to love it. And, other than that, I think you kind of know. It's beautiful. It's gorgeous to look at. It's fun. The soundtrack is interesting. And I think a lot of us probably are aware of the Mario music. It's sprinkled throughout the course of the film. They do kind of shoehorn these references in a little bit too much. Even at the beginning, when you see Mario and Luigi share a bedroom, okay, they're grown men. Okay, I don't know. But anyway, their room is sprinkled with posters of old Nintendo games, and they're at a pizza parlor, and there's Jumpman, arcade stand-up arcade game, and at one point you even see a poster for Mike Tyson's. I guess it's just Punch Out, not in this. It's just Punch Out, not Mike Tyson's Punch Out. So those are really cool to see. It felt like maybe they forced some of it. Like I said, they forced some of that a little bit too much. But it doesn't take away from the overall enjoyment of this movie. I really enjoyed it. I think that when it comes to streaming, I would sit down and watch it with my kids again. I would not, for me, just wouldn't make an effort to go out and see it in the theater again. But if you are on the fence about whether or not you want to see this and you like animated movies, this is definitely one of the better ones. And if you're a fan of Mario, or if you can't even know who he is, then it's interesting enough to watch. So if you have seen it, please let me know. I went a little bit long in this, so I appreciate everyone. And, like, share, subscribe. I always forget to say that. And I will see you after the next movie.